Today, we're going to take a look at some reports about the burglaries, the robberies, the looting at California retail shops. A lot of these dispensaries reporting that half of them aren't going to be able to reopen. So maybe take a look at the impact, obviously what's going on and what might happen. California is not only the fifth largest GDP in the world, making it a huge economy, but the cannabis culture alone is important. And so for those reasons, we're going to dive into these reports coming up.
It's only entertainment.
Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast.
A marijuana delivery service in Oakland is the latest business to be hit by a group of thieves, and it happened not once, but twice.
We're hearing a lot more stories like that where at least it's not during operating hours. So 3 o'clock in the morning, a group of guys are going in, captured on surveillance cameras, but obviously all covered up. Hopefully none of them are doing it during the day, because that can be pretty frightening. I was a bank manager at one point. I got robbed on 420 at gunpoint, and the gal who was at the teller station quit. It was pretty bad. But this poor guy, he had it happen twice. They kind of came back and did it again. So I think it was the first time was during a demonstration or riot rather, and took out his entire business. And the second time was only $25,000 worth of damage. Actually, this guy, between product that was stolen, damage, he's only down $50,000. But when it comes to other folks in California, San Francisco specifically, you're seeing Rite Aid and all of these convenience stores closed because there's absolutely zero police around, apparently. So not only that, but there's some people claiming that there was police are just looking and watching this happen, and they didn't do anything about it. So apparently there's some criminal gangs, you've seen on TV, just recently Nordstrom had a whole group go in and organized and just rob it. So there's these flash mobs going in, gangs, whatever you want to call them. 15 cannabis licenses were hit in November alone. So vandalizing, stealing millions of dollars, $5 million worth of product being stolen just in California in that time frame.
A former convict says he felt safer during his life of crime after his Oakland cannabis dispensary was ransacked last month. Listen to this.
I was safer selling weed on the streets of Oakland than I am selling it legally. And that's a problem. That's crazy to even say, but that's just the reality I'm living in right now.
So this guy goes on to say that he knows 25 businesses that got hit, and of those, 50% won't be able to reopen. So some of these flash mobs or organized crimes coming in, breaking stuff. So that can range from anything from like minor damage, and in some cases, gunfights between criminals and security guards. Most security guards around here aren't allowed to have guns, or choose not to, because actually recently in Washington State, there was a doorman who ended up shooting and killing somebody, and there's a massive lawsuit. So not even worth it, really. So here's the part where San Francisco police officers were looking on. At least one person was shot. Burglars made off with cannabis products, and San Francisco police they didn't do anything about it. So a lot of what we're seeing, thefts and vandalizing, is companies being targeted. So they know that there's not a lot of police. You can see what's happening at Rite Aid and just at the corporate level with mass looting. So why not go towards something else? You're getting $500 an ounce in Mexico. The Mexicans are paying 5x over what Californians are. So for $100 ounce, Mexicans are paying $500 for that. So I'm just saying, like, there's arbitrage somewhere, right? People are doing this for a reason, and it's safer than robbing a bank, I guess. You don't have to wait till they don't have big safes, right? You just go in and steal the stuff. So really unfortunate that people are getting targeted. There was this one company, Blunt and More. So they got hit a year and a half ago during the national Black Lives Matter protests. That's when he got nailed for $700,000 on a complete loss, from damages to product loss. This time around, he got hit again, but it's only $25,000 to fix the glass shelves and cases and stuff. So, but like I mentioned, out of the 25 businesses that he knows, half aren't going to reopen. And it's pretty scary. So on top of that, he says he's been targeted by vandals or burglars at least 10 times since 2018. So how much targeting can the small business withstand before they just kind of close up shop? How hard is it for them to recover? I mean, with direct sales, maybe people don't care. Like with Amazon, people are like, I don't care if stores close and the mall closes, like I still get my stuff. But there's a lot of people who are impacted by that. And so if some of these stores do close in rural areas, especially, then you're not going to be able to service those people. We see that a lot. For an industry that still doesn't have banking, insurance companies that really won't file or fulfill claims like this or drop you immediately afterwards, doesn't really leave these businesses much, right? They're already kind of low income by definition. A lot of, you think like big marijuana MSOs, but a lot of these small companies are individually owned. They don't have a lot of capital. They don't have access to banks and loans and things like that. So they're gonna have to pay for this out of pocket. And it's gonna be a big impact to a lot of them that are not able to utilize insurance and normal things. Fortunately, some of the cannabis or some of the senators in San Francisco passed an ordinance to delay a cannabis tax to kind of help fight the legacy market. So not having to pay those taxes are going to maybe help to help some of these businesses to put money back in and fix things up. Others are going to get an advantage because they haven't been broken into or yet. But hopefully they'll get some order restored down in San Francisco and Oakland and California at some point, because this isn't sustainable for any small business. And I think that's maybe kind of the point. We've been on lockdown. It's already been hurting small businesses. Now they're talking about, the Biden administration is talking about raising taxes for small businesses. Like that would be a death nail. You can't have a lockdown and all of these things and then have all of the looting and then have people stay at home and expect people to stay in business. The essential businesses were the Walmarts. Luckily cannabis was deemed essential, but not all small businesses were. And as a result, a lot of small businesses failed and will not reopen. That's just a fact. I went into a town over the Olympic Peninsula in Washington State, military town, and it looks desolate. It looks bad. It's over by Forks. If you've ever read that or seen those movies, that's where it's at. And it's bad. So some of these rural areas are significantly impacted. And, if the federal government doesn't step in and help with some control, not control, but order, you can't just have police on the side watching a gunfight go down. Like people are fleeing out of California to places like Texas. It's crazy. Maybe the Safe Banking Act would help, but they just pulled the banking part out of a bill, National Defense something Act, NDAA, and they pulled the whole banking part for cannabis out of that. So, it's great that it's going to be helping social equity, but I think the biggest thing to help social equity would be to give them banking. So more of a delay, more opportunities if you're already in business, going to give you more of a first mover advantage if you're able to stay in business. I think that's the key, is there's going to be more reasons to kind of just fold and allow others to gain more market share as others, take opportunities like this and just get out the game. It's difficult. So you need cash, you need a lot of it, you need a lot of resources, you need to stay in the game as long as you can. And even then, once legalization happens, there is no guarantee that you'll be able to compete with the other MSOs who have a lot more access to capital, or Canadian companies that come in who are publicly traded. They'll just be buying out. We'll see that whole consolidation piece happen too. But maybe cannabis banking will come. I think that would give the whole industry a lot of hope. but that would be the very beginning of legalization. And many, many people in the industry don't want that to happen yet because they want to keep moving. They want to keep grabbing market share because inevitably, as we've seen from some of the senators and House reps in DC, that they're going to give priority to existing license holders. So we'll have to see where that goes. You just got to come back to the Talking Hedge and find out.
With that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.
Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.